Hey guys, this is Tiffany with the Nerdettes, and I am here to talk about the newest episode of Walking Dead. It's season 8, episode 10, called The Lost and the Plunderers. And if you haven't watched it already, definitely check out my video I did on the unboxing of the special editions because it's super awesome. Here's one of them just to kind of show it off. But yeah, I unboxed 2 through 6 and they are so badass. So check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, so this episode, like, holy hell. I've been waiting for another Negan-centric kind of episode. He is, in this episode, really the meat of this episode is just the kind of fallout after Carl dies. And, I mean, all the ones of us who kind of follow Chandler Riggs and his dad and saw that like Facebook tirade or read about it on the news or heard about it of his dad going off when he got fired. We knew it was coming, but obviously now we know how. So basically it shows like the way they did this episode is like they'll flash up a black screen with someone's name in like white letters and like all caps pretty much. So it starts off like with Michonne and they're in Alexandria. Hey buddy, you coming over here? My dachshund's all excited. What's up, buddy? Anyway, so Alexandria is overrun with walkers. And I mean, you can just kind of see the melancholy and just like everything that's happened is finally set in. And she's almost in like a daze, after losing Carl and dealing with everything. She's just kind of zoned out, and it's she's really feeling just kind of lethargic and just like not sure what to do anymore. It's like she's lost a sense of purpose almost because she obviously Carl had become like her son in many ways, and so now I mean she's just kind of lost her way a little bit, and she goes to the house where they lived and she sees Carl and Judith's handprints on like the porch and stuff, and she just it breaks her. Like she breaks down. I have never lost, like I've lost like pets, but I've never truly lost like a son or a daughter. I can't even imagine what that might be like. Oh gosh, I can't even imagine that, just that despair and just devastation. So, but yeah, she definitely, you can tell she's really, really just feeling it completely. And I mean, and this is the worst time or place to feel it. But like they've got to leave. They've got to get out. So Michonne and Rick, they take what they can, pile it into a vehicle, and they're ready to take off. And as they are going to leave, they notice that this like kind of a shack that Carl used to sit on top of. He used to sit on the roof. It's on fire. So they literally stop and take fire hydrants to it to put it out. Because I mean that's part of it's almost like it's an homage, like almost like a sacred shrine, in a way, in a weird way, to his memory, and for it to be desecrated by fire, they can't have that. So of course they're like trying their best to put it out, and eventually it gets put out, and they move on. So it shows as they're driving down the road, like at this point they've left Alexandria and they're having this conversation. Okay, what do we do? What do we do now? Like, our home is gone, and they're kind of stuck in like this limbo, which I think is really interesting because we don't see them ever talking to Daryl or Tara, or I guess those people have gone to the hilltop. I don't know. I don't know where they've gone, but like they're talking about how they don't know what to do. They're like talking about like, should we just like, are you wanting to just give up? Like, are you wanting to give up to Negan? And ironically, right as Michonne says that, she's like going through the letters that Carl left them, and one of them is addressed to Negan. And as we saw in the last episode, like in that kind of like next to death like dream sequence, he saw Negan in that garden, or what, like in Alexandria, that he had imagined, or kind of like almost like foreseen, or I don't even know what to call it, but he had seen it in his dreams, or whatever you want to call it, dreamlike state. So basically, he wrote a letter to Negan. So, but anyways, Rick and Michonne, they decide they want to go to the junkyard because they need all the help they can get now. I mean, everybody's kind of, dispersed in many ways. They've hit a huge wall, and they need more backup. They need more hands and guns and ammo and everything behind them. And when they get there, the junkyard is overrun with walkers, all dressed up like the people that used to, be inhabitants of this junkyard. So Negan is still on the hunt for them, because obviously he doesn't know that they escaped to that tunnel underneath Alexandria. So he's like, search every nook and cranny and hole, everything for them, because he's looking for them, because obviously right now he wants to get rid of Rick and get things back to where they were, and just take back control pretty much. And Negan ironically starts talking about Carl, that man's one-eyed son, and he almost, this whole time he's almost had this fatherly pride in Carl, even though he's not his. He seemed to have this crazy kindred spirit connection with him on some level. How exactly that works out, I honestly don't know, but they've always seemed to have kind of this interesting kindred spirit. Negan recognizes something in him that maybe he saw in himself, maybe he saw it maybe in his own kid that passed away. Just something about Carl just hits him, right there in the heart. So he's talking about him, and how Carl is built for this world, what it is, what it's become, how he's got so much strength and resilience, and it's kind of ironic that he would be discussing this. So basically Negan comes to that same conclusion, that they need the junkyard people. So he's reached that same conclusion that Rick has, and he tells Simon, his right hand man at this point, I need you to go to the junkyard, and I need you to renegotiate our deal, but you only can take only one person out. That's how Negan works. He, obviously with Alexandria and with Rick, he took out Abraham and he took out Glenn. But with this, he tells Simon, because Simon, and he knows that Simon is a loose cannon in many ways, and you can tell that, but he tells him, you can only take out one person, make sure you renegotiate this deal, we need these guns and ammo behind us. So, then, they get a crate, and a wooden crate, and it's it's a coffin. You can hear knocking and snarling, and a walker obviously inside of it. And this is the one that Maggie had made up at Hilltop with Dean when they killed him for basically being out of line and doing, trying to rile up the other saviors that they have taken prisoner. So they said, here you go, we have 38 more or something like that. So, Simon opens it up, and Negan has a nail gun type thing, and he just basically, kills the Walker version of Dean. And, Simon is furious. He's like, I'm going to take out those farmers. I'm going to show them who's boss. And Negan's like, chill, little man. Because obviously, he's getting a little bit too egotistical. You can see him, his ego's inflated. He thinks that he's bigger than he really is. He's got that arrogance happening a little bit too much, and I think even Negan is noticing it, which is why he's stepping his foot down. So, he yells at Simon at one point, because Simon is just being, belligerent, and Negan snaps. He's patient to an extent, obviously, but when you push his button too far, like when you get to the end of his very small rope of patience, he just snaps and he yells at Simon. He's like, "Do your job." And he just like yells it at him. And you can see Simon just kind of take it, or so it seems. But yeah, I mean, anyways, it goes back to Enid and Aaron. They are being like handcuffed to what looks like a wall radiator type thing. And this is by that tribe or group of women that have, gone off on their own, that have been found previously by Tara. Is it Watershed? Something like, I don't remember the exact name of it, but yeah, that's where they're being captured, and Cindy is now the one in charge of it. She was the daughter or granddaughter of the leader that, was taken out. So Cindy decides to let them live and let them be on their way, and basically tells them, this is my contribution to this move, the whole ordeal is letting you live, don't come back. And for some reason, like, Aaron can't leave. I guess he thinks that if he stays, he can somehow change their mind, but he tells Enid to go ahead and go back. So, and to tell Maggie and the Hilltop what he's doing. So I don't know what he has in mind, what he thinks he can do to make a difference or change this, but apparently he thinks he's got something in his arsenal. So anyways, the Saviors go to the landfill, Simon leading the pack, and basically they talk to he talks to what's her name? Jadis. Sorry, bad brain day. He talks to Jadis and tells her, we want the same deal if you'll agree to it, as before. However, we need all your guns and ammo. She agrees, ironically, and they give away like all their guns and ammo to these Saviors. And so he just basically, without even blinking, takes out this man that we know is very close to her. I don't know if he's kind of like, he seems like he's the father figure almost of this junkyard. But yeah, she sees him get taken out, and you can see like he's basically pestering her to say that she has that she's very sorry and that she has remorse. And he makes her say it, like, say you have remorse. And she says it. He kills the man. And he's like, no, I want to know you feel remorse. And she obviously does. Like, she's crying and very sincerely saying that she has remorse. And then he kills, like, her, like, best friend, the lady that she, like, is very close to her. I'm not sure what that relationship was. If it was like maybe that of a lover, or that of maybe a sister or friend, I don't know, but very close relationship. And he takes her out too. So obviously he's taken out two people already, and he's broken all of Negan's command basically, which was just only take out one person. And he then orders the Saviors to kill all of them. And like they shoot all of them, and somehow they leave Jadis alive. And so, I mean, it's crazy. And we see Simon go back to Sanctuary, and he makes out to Negan like, oh, well, we negotiated the deal, it's still on, we got the guns and ammo, I took out only one person like you said. So he makes it seem like he's done everything Negan has asked, which doesn't make sense to me, like, what his plan is, because Negan's not an idiot. He is intelligent. And at some point, fairly soon, Simon's not his only, person that he gets information from. So very, very soon, he's going to find out that the people at the junkyard are no longer there for some reason. and he's going to want to know why. So, um, basically, at this point, Negan gets a radio call from Rick, of all people. So at this point, we don't really get to hear what it's regarding. But basically, it goes back to Jadis at the junkyard. She's up on the pile, and this is where Rick has come in, and all these people that used to be inhabitants of this junkyard are now walkers. So him and Michonne are like taking them out left and right, and they look up and they see Jadis up on the top of this garbage pile, and like basically she begs them to help her, even though, I mean, in many ways I understand Rick's point of view. I do, because she's triple crossed them at this point. She's done horrible things, but I think in any instance, and this is why I think what Carl did was so important, we have to remember our own humanity and the humanity of others, and forgive and forget sometimes. I mean, you can't really trust everybody, but at some point, you just got to forgive and forget and move on with your life. And sometimes, even help those people who may have slighted you. I mean, you never know. Like, good karma is a real thing, So, I mean, he sees her, and Michonne, with Carl's words and everything that she's had, wants to help Jadis. But Rick says no. He, like, shoots in the air, leaves her by herself, and him and Michonne take a run for it, and they get out. And Jadis is left at the top, and we see her later, like, banging this pole. She leads them almost like cattle to the slaughter, quite literally, to like this garbage crusher like turbine with I'm trying to think it's like a claw machine that just like mixes and churns and literally models things into just oblivion, into nothing. So I mean, it would turn garbage into like the most like almost like pieces of paper. Think of ripping a piece of paper in the smallest pieces you can, at like hundreds, maybe thousands of little tiny pieces floating in the air. That's essentially what this machine does. And it's got like these very sharp claw-like turbine, things rolling together. I don't know the exact technical name. If you do, kudos to you. Thank you for being awesome. I'm not up on all that, but yeah. So she leaves her people and basically has to watch all these people that she has led, that she has been friends with, that she has, shared meals and shared a home with, like, go into this turbine and turn into mush. Like, sees them decimated before her eyes. So she's already seen them killed. Now she has to see their walker remains just completely decimated before her eyes. And I can't even imagine. Like, she sees that man that was like that fatherly figure. She sees the woman that was very close to her, like, as they're reaching up to her in their walker state, but at the same time being pulled and yanked down and crushed into little bits and just disgusting, just gook. So it's awful. I mean, she eventually, though, does come down. She pulls out this filing cabinet, gets out some applesauce, drinks it. I imagine she eats the applesauce. And we see her finally get out. She can get out, I guess. It doesn't really show her leaving, but she can. Because now there are no walkers, because they're all crushed into bits of sludge. So, anyway, that was a very, very rough scene to watch. But yeah, so basically we finally see Rick driving down the road with Michonne, Michonne is trying to speak to him again about Carl's words because obviously he's left these letters for all of them. Rick at this point doesn't want to read his. Like, he's still in the state of, I don't know, he's not really handling it, I guess. That's how he's approaching it, is he's choosing almost not to, he's trying to push forward too much in a sense, with a very volatile, violent, even vengeful manner. And like, she tells him that maybe what they did and leaving Jadis there was wrong, and he's like trying to justify it, that she triple crossed them, that they couldn't trust her, not that he wanted her to die. All he did was sound a gunshot in the air. He didn't want her to die, he just wanted her to go away. So Michonne is like, that's not what Carl wanted us to do. He wanted us to reach out a hand and help one another and be a community. And Rick made that promise to make that dream a reality. And it's almost like he's forgotten that promise, or those final words to Carl. Like, almost like they didn't exist, I mean, granted, this is his own days that he's kind of going through. So maybe when the smoke clears, I don't know. Maybe something will finally get through to him. I honestly don't know. Maybe it's his letter, because at this point, he still has not read his letter. But he reads Negan's letter, and he radios Negan. And he tells him about Carl dying. And Negan, like, you can see him, taken aback. Almost like that was not what he wanted to hear. And almost, like, sorrowful. It's really interesting to see that. But he seems like it's a loss to him, too. And he even says to Rick that he's sorry. I mean, it's almost like... It's weird, though, because he's, like... so like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, because one minute he's very compassionate and like, I'm so sorry, he was a great kid, he was the future, saying all these things. And of course Rick, is cut to pieces, and he tells Negan, like, he's so bullheaded, because he's like, even though Carl says we both have to stop, like in his letter to you, he says that you have to stop, that I have to stop, whatever. I'm never going to stop. I'm going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. Really, dude? Really? Like, this is not helping matters at all. Like, this is not helping you stay true to Carl's memory. You just got to, like, think this through, man. But of course he's, like, running off at the mouth. Like, he's... every other sentence he's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm just gonna kill you, and Negan almost kind of completely calmly is like telling Rick that the reason all this happened, like the reason that Carl got bitten, is because of Rick, is because he wasn't a good father. Because those words are harsh, man. They hit hard to anybody. He's telling them, it's all because you couldn't be a good father. You couldn't watch out for your son like you're supposed to and do your, work as a father. What are you doing, dog? What are you doing? Hi. Sorry, my dog's like right under me. But anyways, yeah, so, and then he says, like, the final words almost of the episode, he tells Rick, he says, give up because you have already lost. And... it's an odd moment, because on some level, I feel like Negan's, what little heart he does or doesn't have, I'm sure that's up for debate, kind of was, moved a little bit by Carl dying. But at the same time, he's not dealing with Carl right now, he's dealing with Rick. And we all know that their relationship is definitely very, very volatile right now. So, I don't know. I wonder if that dream of Carl's can ever come to fruition. I know Rick made that promise to make it so, but I mean, who knows? I mean, this episode was really hard. The Lost and the Plunderers. I mean, because obviously in my here's what I foresee. I obviously foresee Simon trying to turn on Negan, try to maybe get guys of like the saviors on his side to just do like mass murder of anyone who naysays them in any way, and not to have like a system almost like a judge, jury, executioner system like Negan does. They just want to slaughter everyone, pretty much. Um, and I feel like, obviously, he's going to go to that wayside and take some men that agree with him, I'm sure, along with him. And who knows? Like, I don't know if he'll try to turn on Negan, like, and try to kill him. I don't know. Like, maybe if Negan upsets him enough, like, with his authority that he has, because you can see Simon does not like taking his orders anymore. Obviously, like, he's neglected to follow them. So I feel like he's gonna probably turn on Negan or in some form or fashion. Um, so maybe that'll be the point where Negan ends up in that jail cell. I don't know, with Rick and all them. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but I feel like something with Negan is about to happen big time. I feel like something with Rick's about to happen big time, and somehow it's gonna reach a crazy climax, and we're gonna be like, "What just happened?" I don't know, because obviously now we're way outside the comic realm. I mean, we have been for quite some time, but yeah. I mean, that's this episode. I sorry for kind of going on about it, but anyways, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube. Thank you for watching. Obviously, I watch Walking Dead, even though I know a lot of people have given up on it. I'm trying to push through and keep up with it just to see what they do with it, because I know they're wanting to end it pretty soon, as far as the TV show goes. So I'm trying to keep up with it and just see how that comes to its end. But yeah, obviously, stay tuned for more reviews of the TV shows. We're going to do Westworld. I've watched all of season 1. Can't wait for season 2. I'm so excited to meet the samurai. Of course, we're going to do the Orville when it comes back. Gosh, there's just so much we've got in store for you guys. So keep watching, keep in touch, and just watch those. We've got unboxings. Obviously, I'm giving away an SNES Classic right now. So if you haven't already, check out that giveaway video on how you can win a free SNES Classic for yourself or a loved one or someone you want to give it to. And yeah, so check out those unboxings. Check out the giveaways. We have so many more giveaways that are happening. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thenerdettes. And we really appreciate you guys. Thank you again so much, and we'll see you later. Bye!